Arizona healthcare workers started getting the COVID-19 vaccine yesterday, a few of them. Among the first to get vaccinated is a man you know very well if you watch the show, Dr. Goldberg, president of the Arizona Medical Association, District Medical Group Vice Chair of Surgery at Valleywise Health. Well, you look good. You got good color in your face. You got a smile. How was your vaccination? I understand you took video of it for us.
Well, I got the card. Yeah, no, I feel pretty good. A little sore arm, a little bit of a muscle ache last night, but otherwise, like any other vaccine, I feel pretty good.
Are you happy you got it at this point? I mean, what's your attitude? You got to be happy.
I think this is all awesome. It's the only way I can describe it. I'm really excited for everyone. Look, I know there's some nervous people out there and they want to know more about this. So I feel it's part of my responsibility to kind of go out there and show that I trust in the science and I'm willing to kind of do this publicly and they can see how I'm doing. And hopefully that will give them some faith this is okay.
Okay, we're watching this right now. Here you go. Not even a flinch. I always flinch when I get a shot. You know?
Didn't feel it.
You didn't feel it at all?
I mean, I felt the needle initially, but otherwise, no.
You're pretty tough. All right, good. So, I mean, so when people get this, and I understand this is from the very earliest doses that were given out, I believe, in New York City, that you watch people for like 15 minutes, right? What's the point of that?
Again, you want to see for any reactions. You know, you can have adverse reactions, allergic reactions to a vaccine. So they want to watch to make sure you're doing okay. So we sat around for 15, 20 minutes. I mean, there were obviously people there we were talking to and they were watching. And that's what they're going to do with these pods, too. They're not going to let you just drive off. They're going to watch you for a little bit. We've heard a couple of the random reactions that can happen with vaccines. So they just observe you to make sure you're doing okay before you drive off.
We've heard of a couple of cases. Ron had one earlier, I guess, out of Alaska, where people are having adverse reactions. But it seems to be an extremely small number. What have you heard about that?
Yeah, I mean, so I know 4 so far, I think. 2 in Alaska were people I don't think who had previous allergies, and the 2 in the UK who had a history of anaphylactic reactions where they carried their own EpiPens. These can happen. You expand the number of people getting this small percentage will occur. It happens with every vaccine. You can have this reaction, so which is why we observe. And you have the treatment available. It's usually epinephrine if you have an allergic reaction. So, I mean, they were brief reactions that happened pretty quickly to when they got the vaccine, and then they were treated. I know one person was in the hospital overnight just for observation and went home the next day. It's just to be on the safe side. That's why we do it.
So since we talked last week, a couple of developments. Number one, our hospitalizations got above where they were in our previous peak of this back in July. And number two, one of the big hospitals came out and said, we have no more ICU beds left. And you're in a position to look at a bunch of different hospitals and emergency rooms and ICUs. What are you seeing right now in our hospitals, and how critical is it at this point?
Well, things are tight. You know, what happens is that we run out of physical beds or staffing issues, and then we have to also do ICU care in other areas of the hospital. It doesn't mean the quality goes down. It's just you're doing things in areas you don't normally do because you need to expand due to a surge of patients. So kind of all the hospitals are feeling the pressure right now. And the difference between this surge that we're having now versus the one in July was only COVID. Right now, we're dealing with our normal busy season, flu season. We have more population here with people flying in for the winter. And so you've got that normal busy season and then a surge on top. And then you surge with Thanksgiving. It's just putting a lot of pressure on the hospitals right now.
But you do have the staffing, right? Or do you? Are you short-staffed?
Staffing's always, you know, we're always keeping a close eye on it. I know that there's been other staffing from outside is coming in, working with DHS or the governor talked about that recently. So more staff is always better. So I know we're getting people in, but the idea is if we keep on pushing things with more surges, it may push us to a place we don't want to get to.
All right. Well, thank you for everything you're doing, Doctor. And one last thing, I don't see any of your Giants gear behind you. Is that because of the beatdown that happened last week with the Cardinals? I mean...
I was waiting for that. You know, you're welcome so we can make sure the Cardinals feel better about themselves since you guys went on a bit of a slide and we were doing so well. So, you know, we figured we'd give one for you.
Did you hear one of our players sacked your quarterback 5 times? That was one player. One player sacked your guy 5 times.
Was it Marcus Golden just getting revenge since we traded him from the Giants to the Cardinals?
No, he had 1 sack, but it was just, and a fumble. And a recovery. Yeah. The same guy did all 3 things, and it was Hassan Reddick who had the 5 sacks, who was the NFC Defensive Player of the Week. So,
well, you know, can't win every week.
No, that was fun. All right, Dr. Goldberg, great talking with you again. Seriously, thank you for all you and your team are doing, and we'll talk to you next week.